Hey guys, all you standard changer operators, people. So I got in a green stripe hopper today, and this has kind of been a big day for hoppers. This is Friday, May 14th, 2021, and we were given a word today by my parts man at American Changer that they are bringing back a new and improved version of the green stripe hopper, which means the yellow stripe evolution will no longer be offered by American. This one here is part of my test jig. So anyway, evolutions are out. This is not the new version, by the way. This is a repair, and the reason I want to do this short video on the repair of this is it has a couple of issues. Okay, now I always tell the customer, if they can, send it in with their own plate, mounting plate, okay? Because sometimes it could be a problem with the pins, although these appear to be nice and flush. None of them are pushed in. Could be the wire, or it could be none of the above. So anyways, this customer sent in his hopper. And as we always do, you see how we jump the two pins. This makes it so we don't have to put quarters in, or in our case nickels. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to test it, and if you guys know what an MEI sounds like when it boots up, that did not go through its full boot, and it did not turn on the changer. Okay, that's why I always like to have a sold out light hooked up to my test jig. As you can see, it's out of service. So now, first thing I thought of is the hopper board has gone bad, which a lot of times when it does that half a boot, that is the issue. But then, as I was doing something else, I thought, let's test the harness first. You know what? I was set up here and I did not have the harness plugged in. So let's start over. Okay, we're going to get the same result, I believe, because I did a little testing before I thought about doing this video. Alright, so here we go again. Still a half boot, even though I had it completely unplugged. That was just human error. So now, what we're going to do, I'm going to take the customer's plate and wiring harness out of the equation. These are a little tough. You kind of have to rock them back and forth to get them out. So we're going to put this aside. I just happen to have spares for this reason. Unfortunately, a lot of you guys would be able to fix a lot more things if you had spare parts, because it's real easy to change stuff. Okay, it just tells us, you know, okay, we changed this and it started working, so you know that's where the problem is. But if you don't have spares, it's a little bit more difficult. All right, and turn it back on. Now, full boot. Did you notice the lights are flashing? It's ready to take money. Okay, now listen closely. The hopper, once I put money in it, it should start to dispense, even though I haven't put any money in it yet. Hear that? Hear that? Okay, this is what we call a stuck hopper, because it was reversing. It would try and start, excuse me, something is stuck in there. So I wanted to show you that. So ironically, two problems here. This cord is my test cord. It does have my little piece of tape on there that's marked good, so I know it's good. But the hopper is also in a jam. So I'm going to open it up, guys. I'm going to shut the camera off so we don't make this video too long. I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to show you the results. So stand by. Okay, we got the screws out of the hopper. I always like to start with a small bucket so I know I have all the screws and they all go back in. Now, it's always kind of a surprise as to what we find when we open these. A lot of times it's a screw Something didn't even feel right. I can tell right away that this is off the track. Okay. If I can zoom in here, I'm going to get out my pointer. Now, see that gap right there? That shouldn't be there. This has come off the track and it has gone toward the center. So what I'm going to do now, take our idler gear out, and I could feel it in a jam. See, here's another spot that's out right here. It's not even sitting level. So I always kind of inspect it. I see if any of the, now look here. See how that's dusty between this finger and this, but between my two thumbs. See all that dust, that plastic dust? That is where it was going back and forth. It probably sat there for hours, if not days, and went back and forth and just kind of wore the cabinet. So now what we're going to do, we have no obstruction. The motor should run freely. So I'm going to hook it back up. Okay? And we're going to turn it back on again. You always do this with the power off, and I'm the worst for not following those rules, and it's come back to bite me a couple times, but we live and learn. Alright, so now we have it hooked back up to the pigtail. I have my jumpers back on. Theoretically, when I put $1 in, that idler wheel should run. Well, let's put it this way. I'd bet a big steak dinner against a hot dog that will absolutely run. So keep an eye on this wheel right here. Let me zoom in. $1 in. There she goes. So now it'll run forever because there's no coins going through the sensor board. Now what we're going to do is do some cleaning, and I need to be sure I didn't overlook something. No, nothing in there. Sometimes there could be a coin stuck in the other side, which we're going to take this off because that'll be dirty. And but anyways, we're going to disassemble it. We're going to clean the gearbox, use synthetic grease on here, but a lot of times the track, and this one's in good shape, the track here always seems to be at the bottom. It just gets worn razor thin, and it's never going to last. It may go out of here running, but I just, with a clear conscience, I can't see charging somebody and not being able to sleep knowing that's probably not going to make the warranty period. So this one's in excellent shape. We don't know why it came off the track. My first guess is, see, these little tabs can break off. They get worn so razor thin, then they break off. But these are in good shape, and they're all there. They're all there. Yep, so we're going to clean everything up, put it back together, and we know it'll run fine. So, alright guys, next stage we will be clean, and we will show you how to reassemble and show you that our gearbox is re-greased. Stand by. Okay, so we got about 1/3 of it cleaned up. And like I said before, this unit is in surprisingly good shape. So this is one I'm not going to have to think about too much. This is where our gear sets will go, and we have not cleaned those yet. They're sitting over here. We have our belt in our oven cleaning solution, which as they advertise, no scrubbing. It really is no scrubbing. You'll see how clean they come out. So anyways, next step coming up. Okay, so here is the other side where the sensor board is located, and as you can see, we have taken the plate off and given that a good cleaning. Sensor board here, I'm going to show you, comes off with 2 screws that you can see, and you want to be sure you clean the little track in there. That's where the coins go in, and there's usually a ball of fuzz or anything else in there. So 2 screws. This comes off, and being as this has never been apart, I can tell that because it has the factory glue holding the wires to the board, and down here a ways it has the hot glue marks where it holds the harness in place. So anyways, this is our little prism. You can see how it kind of has some angles, and I'm not sure what it's even called, but I normally take a Q-tip, spray both sides, and go across the middle here like so. This one was actually pretty clean. This will only go through the little optics one way, so if you do like I did and you kind of forget which way you had it, makes no difference. Whoops, it was this way, because it'll only snap in one way. So like that. Be sure you put this back in its slots. It's got a little groove there, and it's got the coinciding one on the other side. And keep in mind, guys, you're fastening these screws into plastic, so you don't give them much of a snug. You don't want to strip out the plastic, or you're going to be repairing those holes with some kind of epoxy or something. So just snug them. Nothing really rides on this. The coins go through it right here, and we will show you the reassembly of the other side here coming up. Alright, so we have our other side put together, and although we do not have the gearbox put back together, we're going to show you, before we knock off for the evening, how our belt goes in and what I do to test the belt to be sure there's no rough spots. And alright, so what we do here, the belt, I had one come in one time and it was backwards, which is rare. See these little teeth down at the bottom, kind of like shark's teeth? Well, those go down. And if you put it in the other way, it will run and spin, but it will not dispense any coins because it's going, it doesn't have any way to scoop them up. So what I do here, you have to feel your way around, and if you're off by just one tooth, it's such a tight fit it will not go in to the grooves. See, I'm out here. I think I'm still out. Yep, still out here. Getting closer. Now this should spin just like it is, freely. And if I disrupt one of those pegs in there, it will not spin like that. So anyways, that's how you have to have it. I will get ready to put our gears back together once I get them cleaned, and I think I'll do that in the morning, so you won't know it's been 12 hours or 8 hours, but appreciate you watching so far. Final assembly coming up, and the testing, by the way. We're going to make sure it works. Okay, we are back at it for our final assembly here. We have our gear set cleaned, and what I use is brake clean, and the grease of choice is synthetic because it's clear, doesn't make a big mess. Now guys, you'll probably have noticed if you've taken these gears out that there are 4 different gears, and the first one that goes down below is the biggest. The next 2 are identical, same size. So we need to put our shafts in there. I give them a little bit of grease. And when I say a little, guys, a little goes a long ways. So first gear, biggest one, goes here. That goes against the motor. Give it a little turn, be sure it seats itself, or you'll never get the cap on. And then we put our first matching idler gear on next. Okay, same thing, be sure it goes down. Put a little more grease on the shaft. Our third one. You don't need a ton of grease, guys, but you don't want them to go dry either. I have found that synthetic does last longer. I kind of got this trick from the new Evolution hoppers. Well, I say new, they're no longer available, but they did come out in 2015. And they have gone back, as I'm sure I've mentioned in this video, to another version of the green stripe. Alright, so there's our last gear here. And this is our drive gear assembly that turns the belt. And we've inspected all these parts, by the way, and they're all in great shape. So now, once that is done, put our... Makes it easier, guys, if you don't have the belt in the way, but I'm just kind of cheating a step. Actually, I may have to take it out of the... Yeah. Had to move it just a little bit, so you want to be sure that this belt, if you ever move it, is back in its spot. And you will find that these screws, most of them, unless they've been changed, are stainless. So that means they are not magnetic. Sometimes you have a little bit of trouble getting them back in, like this one. So what I think I'll do is cheat, and I'll set it in there with a pair of needle nose. Do it this way. Still having a little trouble here. The way to do this really is set it in that cap first and then lower it in there as one piece, but we got the cart in front of the horse here a little bit, so let's do it this way. Now, we may have to do that. I haven't really had this much trouble. Try it with a bigger screwdriver one time before we... There we go. You just kind of stab it. Once again, we're going into plastic. Don't give them much more than just a 32nd of a turn once you get them seated, because that's all you need. Alright, now we want to put our drive gear on here once again, being careful not to unseat the belt from its place. Okay, give it a little rattle, be sure nothing's come out. Alright, now I want to put our electrical connection in place. Grab our cover, and guys, if the dust cover on the other side, if it slides out or falls out, I just put a piece of blue tape over there to hold everything in place. So anyways, all right, let's put this guy on. We put our connector, we slide it up into our cover. It only goes one way, guys. It can't be sucked in, or it can't have one side hanging out. So alright, guys, we have all the screws here. Put those in place, make sure we have all of them. Should be 9 of them. And guys, if you have a real sensitive feel, you can do this with a powerful driver. But if you're a little overzealous, you probably want to use something lighter, like my little 2-volt setup, just so you don't strip any screws. because a lot of times I get these hoppers in and they have a stripped hole. Alright, that's all that's required. We are back together here, and I think we're ready to test. So let's hook it up. Get your jumper wires out here first, and we will test it with coins once we realize that what we've done so far is in perfect shape. Alright, plugged in. I think I need to plug in my my test fixture. Give me just a second here. No, already plugged in. Alright. Okay, we are on. We are live. Let me back out of here just a little bit. This hopper, as you noticed, being as the plug is on the same side as the coins come out, this is for a rear load machine. We could have just as easily turned it around and made it for a front load, but the customer doesn't need that. Alright, what I normally do on the first one is I let the hopper run, get that grease spread out, and then we're going to put 4 coins in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will test this. We will load it full of coins to where it makes it run at maximum capacity, and that'll be it. It'll be on its way back for the customer. This is going to be good for 5 or 10 more years. This was in nice shape, no excessive wear. So that is our $90 flat rate rebuild. I did a little searching online. I was in somebody else's site just for kicks. I like to see what's going on, and I have not raised our price on hopper repair in at least 5 years. And the only other site I saw that did it, their flat rate is $145. So guys, you get a bargain at $90. I spent, including cleaning, 2.5 hours on this hopper to get it pristine and just like it should go back to the customer. So guys, for now, Doug at Doug's World Tour, vending channel. If you got anything out of my video, please subscribe and click that bell. It helps the small channels. Stay strong, everyone. Out.